You fucked it up. Who was that? Whose breath was that?
Oh, that was me. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Who inhaled? You wasn't supposed to do
said
that.
5 seconds. I didn't realize what you were saying.
I am very sorry. Welcome, everybody, to the show. We are back with a special guest today. And the only way I can introduce her is the queen of comedy, Miss Janell Banks.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
What's going on, lady? How you doing?
I can talk now. Okay.
Right, listen.
No,
I was like, are we on? Are we on?
I didn't even
Sorry
know
about
when we
that.
started. I was all on my phone. Yes,
Sorry about that. The
I'm
room
doing
was
good.
tapped. You know what I mean?
I'm doing good. The FBI is gone because they have been chasing me.
They been after you too?
They've been after me ever since I posted about the baby and Dave Chappelle in one
Damn.
post.
Oh my
They're
God.
on me.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. You like taking risks, don't you?
Yeah, and
Risk,
I'm
risk.
gay.
That was a risky move. You doubled down. Is what you did.
Nigga live on the wild side.
Man, they're after me.
You just did not care, did you?
And
You
I
put-
was like trans Dave Chappelle and the baby in a
Ooh.
post. They was
Ooh.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
So how long were
Ooh.
you
I'm gonna have
locked?
to look that up and see what you said.
How long were you locked out of Facebook?
I did just get kicked out, and they were like, "Somebody tried to hack your account," so that might
I
be.
got one too.
Yeah, I think
That's
that
weird.
the Illuminati is busy today, or I should not be in a room with Cortez.
Listen, two of y'all
It's
together
so.
is gonna cause a problem. I can only imagine
Yeah.
what's gonna happen after this show.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
It logged me out and everything.
They always log me out. I get nervous every day. I get logged out like 2 or 3 times for
Y'all
no
must-
reason.
Y'all must have hella.
Then I have to log back in. I'm always thinking, because you know when you log back in is when they hit you with a message.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it don't mean no message when I
Yeah.
come in. They
Yeah.
just be fucking with me.
I haven't
Yeah.
reached that level
They
yet.
blocked. Well, today I've been officially blocked for 3 days. So yeah, that's a thing.
You ain't on there? You ain't on there no more?
No.
Yeah, today I got on there and I was trying to post these titties with the pasties on them, but I posted the titties without the pasties on them quickly.
Oh my
They
God.
are being real
Quickly.
sensitive right
Honest
now.
mistake.
Quickly,
Honest
bro.
mistake.
Honest mistake.
How come they couldn't just call you and be like, I know what you meant to do,
Bro,
brother?
small. It was a small joints too. You could mistake them as some.
How many warnings have you already had? Because if you only got 3 days, that's not.
They don't never really. I never been blocked on this page. Probably once, but I don't never get any warnings. Warnings I get to be dumb shit like I done cussed or something like that. So then I can, they don't trip too much about that. But
Yeah.
that nudity
A
shit.
little light warning.
Yeah, that
You know what I
nudity
mean?
shit.
Oh, so somebody needs to crack the code of knowing like what level of like
Yeah.
is this a misdemeanor?
Start
Or
a
is this
Facebook podcast.
you know what
I
mean?
know one thing you can do. You
What?
ain't never get blocked for it saying nigga. You won't never
No.
get blocked for saying nigga.
No, that was that. Keep going.
No, they
Keep
start
going.
sending you money after that.
You get,
But I can't say, like, I got blocked for saying I'm gonna beat you up.
Yep.
I got blocked for saying
Yes.
you better stop before I push you or
Yep.
punch you. I got blocked for saying I'm gonna punch you.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got put on a suspension. So
That's because it's violent. So I put
Yeah.
stab, like somebody said, like Libras are serial killers or some shit like that, and I was like stab. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Funny.
you going there.
I think they only pick with certain
Hey,
people,
you
though.
going
I be
there.
seeing comments, motherfuckers be like, bro, I knocked these niggas the fuck out, bitch ass niggas. You don't see
I'm
them.
like, how is
Yeah.
it whole fighting
Yeah.
videos and like whole pornographic material? On
Exactly.
Facebook?
Yeah.
Like
I don't
I
get it.
have
I don't get
videos of people like humping dogs in my inbox,
Yeah.
and I can't say
Mhm.
you can't read the context of our conversation and say not know that this is playful banter. Like I'm not
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
over here knucking if you bucking.
Right. Yeah. That's
But I will tell you this, you can get away with a lot of shit in the inbox.
Oh, in the inbox.
Yeah,
you
the
can.
inbox.
Get away with a lot of shit in there.
The inbox is free reign.
Yeah, the inbox, boy. It's one of the
maybe-
dirtiest places on earth.
Oh,
The inbox,
wow.
is- you tell people.
Obviously, Obviously, you just,
Yeah, you tell people to meet you in the inbox so that way you can say whatever the fuck you want to. You be
Yeah.
like, let's go.
Yeah.
go with me. Shit, say your ass, yeah. But on them comments, yeah.
Sometimes I wish I got a female inbox, though. Y'all should go.
Oh yeah.
Post a couple of pictures of y'all shit crack.
It's like we don't even need phone numbers anymore. Remember when it was like taboo to DM or
Exactly.
call somebody now?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
now that's the new cell phone.
Yeah.
Like you don't need a cell phone number.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I asked this chick for her number one time. She gave me her Snap information. I said, "What I'm supposed to fucking do with this?"
Hey, reach me
Here's
there.
my
nigga.
password, nigga.
That
What
means
the
you
fuck
ugly.
want-
That nigga
What you
said-
do with this?
That nigga said, reach me there. No, you know what?
Look at my Snapchat handle.
I don't.
Nah, but then you snap them and then they sending you shit. You like, oh, all right. I can see what the snap is all about now.
Yeah.
I ain't know.
Yeah,
I know.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't
I ain't
think
noticed
it's
what it was.
anymore
I ain't
now
know.
because you're ugly. You know what I mean? Or they don't want to talk to you. Now I think it's just, first of all, no one's really changing their numbers like they used to anymore. Nobody's
you're
really
not
like,
giving your number
let me change
out,
my
yeah.
number. It's just that you don't give it out.
Mm-hmm.
Spam calls fucked it up for everybody.
Oh
If
my
I'm tired
God.
of these motherfuckers,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get tired of you. So you might as well not even have my numbers because I'm not gonna talk to you.
What's
that long.
kind of fucked it up for everybody? I think iPhones with the FaceTime because
Yeah.
now all
Yes.
platforms got some type of video chat now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you really don't need nobody's number. You
That's
really
true.
just
That's
You
true.
don't. You
Yeah.
don't.
That's
Like
true.
there, and I'm horrible with saving numbers. So even
Oh,
if you
yeah.
give me your number,
They don't
like
have
I
it.
will engage with you for months and never save your number.
Man.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because like some people will text me or hit me up, and I have to go back and read the text messages. Like
I do.
Yeah, me too.
what?
I do.
Who is, oh, okay.
I
Hey,
That's how you
yeah,
know
happy
when you're done with the
birthday.
bullshit. No new
Yeah,
people, goddammit.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you ain't already saved, you a new motherfucker. So you just gonna stay
I
right
just
there.
got lazy fingers. That's
Yeah.
it.
I mean, me too. But
Yeah.
Hey, are we texters? Are we all texters, or are we still call me on the phone if we need to if we need to interact?
Texas.
It
'Cause-
depends on the relationship that I have with that person. I'm not a big texter. I just not with nails and fingers. It's frustrating.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't really care to text, but if you
Mhm.
are a person that like I'm really vibing with or whatever, like I'll text, but they're still gonna be short texts.
Yeah.
They just like, hey, good morning.
Oh my god.
Have a great day.
So no
I
effort
hope
in
your
the
day
text.
is going well.
that definitely
Nigga can't get a
But
paragraph.
I'll
No.
talk on the phone for hours.
Yeah.
Like I will talk on like I'm the type of person I'll
Yeah.
fall asleep on the phone with you and wake up. Like I still
Okay,
I'm
but I
very
won't
old
text you,
school.
That's cute.
I'm very old
No,
school.
that.
I think you know what I think that's. I keep saying that shit. I think that's just Libra shit. I really do. I'm not a
Here
texter.
you go gang banging again.
Listen,
Here you go.
Libra gang.
Look at it. Look at
You
it.
know what?
Goddamn
I'm
Libra.
not
Throwing up the L.
And shout out to all the Libras that was your birthday. I know it's Scorpio season, but whatever. Shout out to all the Libras.
10 in this thing.
Whoop whoop 10-9. You know, I think I'm not a texter. I'm like, text me. I feel like text is something that you need to hurry up and tell me. Because I don't like if I text you and you respond too slow. I'm already over the shit.
I'm a very time frame texter.
I'm over it.
gotta
I'm
be
over
See,
it.
very
that's
time
too much. You
frame.
can't be putting rules on brothers, man. How
Because-
come a brother can't
Because
text you
listen,
back in a
okay.
decent amount of time?
So listen to this. If I talk to you on the phone, I ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
If you take too long to answer on the phone, nigga, I'm hanging up.
I get that though. That's
So if-
they kind of stupid if they can't just freestyle.
But listen
you know
to
what I
this.
mean?
So if you text me, first of all, you done got me out of my groove. You don't know what the fuck I was doing. You text me, and I'm like, okay, I'll respond to you. Like, oh, okay.
What's the nigga at work?
Why would you text me and you know you can't really talk?
Cause he like you.
Then that means you
See,
send
look at y'all.
Then listen, no. Then that means you would send a text like, hey, just thinking about you. Da-da-da-da-da. Those texts are different. But if you text me like you having a conversation and I respond and we having a conversation and then it's like nothing.
Man,
Like,
but when
I'm
he go
over this
behind that pallet, you know he only got like 60 seconds. You got to hit him right back. I
Listen,
done did this. I'm
listen,
telling
I'm
you.
already exhausted.
Boss me on your ass.
Then don't message me at work.
Sometimes I can appreciate though when you reach out to me in them odd hours. And so I'll engage because then I'll be like, oh, if you texted me when I know you got something to do or, you know, you got something going on, I feel that, you know. But at the same time, I'm still not just like, I'm only texting if we getting into it or like, you know, if I'm really getting to know somebody, yeah, I'm a text. But just all day, like I got to drive. I got to get ready. I got to, you know, do stuff. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. Just call me and tell me what you need to tell me, and then like, and then you never know for a woman. Maybe we want to hear your voice.
We're gonna have to have a show about this because I'm sick of this shit. We're gonna get to this Janell interview, but we're gonna get back to this shit because that's some bullshit. Y'all
Then we
are
have to
so
make-
we gotta do
then
so
we need-
much stuff to y'all. We can't
Then we
just
need to make sure Janell is back. Because
man, we can't ask what you doing no more. Nothing. All right.
And
not
so what
in,
y'all
not in
gotta
the
do?
WYD. Not in the
Listen,
WYD.
and some
It could
people
be
go
whatever
WYD,
format.
You the dead.
Not in the what are you doing?
My first question
Not
to
texting, not
Janell.
responding.
It's, what are you doing? WYD.
You know what? I've been waiting so long to have a female guest. Guys, if you don't know, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, you going ham already.
Already.
We 8 minutes in.
Already.
My first question to
Start.
Janell. When did you first realize you were funny? Funny.
As a kid, like I always combated being teased. Like I was a fat kid, I was dark, I had crooked teeth, you know, and so I was an easy target on the playground.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just come back like, cool, I'm fat, but where's your father? You know, like.
Where the fuck is your daddy at, nigga?
Right. Didn't you wear that outfit last week? Like,
Okay.
gosh, you know, oshkosh my gosh, but not every day, you know?
I ain't heard that brand in a minute. Okay. So you were battling on the playground.
It was my defense mechanism, you know, like, and when I realized people left me alone, I was like, we might be into something. There was a guy, and we still Facebook friends to this day. Jonathan Smith told me in the 3rd grade, you're going to be on Comic View one day. And I don't know what I was doing as a kid or saying, but I think because I was just teased so much that was, you know, I'm not going to fight you, but I will talk about your mother. Yeah. Like, you know.
So you didn't go light. You came back with the hardcore shit. You hitting above.
Michelle say we go high, then I'm going for them knees because
you hit niggas below the belt. Your mama is dead, nigga. Why are you talking to me?
Right.
The
Ain't
fuck
no
dead ass
a
mama.
ghost. What you doing?
That's why I was telling Ryan. I was like, when we was kids, we grew up just like that. We everybody joked.
Yeah.
And you had to get it. Nobody had no. You couldn't hold back.
Yeah.
You was gonna get picked on.
Yeah.
That was just, you either get picked on or you be the picker. That's all it was.
And my family is very much. My family, like, you seen the Waynes, but that's what I grew up with. Like, my aunts and uncles roasted the shit out of each other. Like,
okay. So you learned how to do it in house.
Yeah, like. I remember one time I almost fell out the car at the exit on Banner where you coming off 435 and you can get off at Bannister on 71, you merging. Yeah. I remember almost falling out of the car because I was laughing so hard. Because my uncle said some smooth shit to my auntie. Like, they was going in. Like, I just grew up in a household.
Hit her with a knockout blow.
Man, like, you know, and I'm laughing so hard and I'm holding on to the door. I done opened the damn door of the car, you know. So, like, yeah, I just grew up in a very aggressive and humor family. Like, that's how we communicate. That's how we show love through, like, nigga, you ugly, but I love you. You know? Like,
so your family was funny for the most part? Like, most of your family members?
Yeah, I wish, like, I was not the only one who did stand-up because they very much all should have had a career. Or, like, my mom still has not given up on her dream of being a writer because she swears she writes or could write my jokes. But she be hitting me with the, hey, you should try this right here. And then you know, I like what you did when you was up there. Like, but,
okay.
Yeah.
So she coaching you a little bit.
Yeah, she definitely feel like she feel right now.
Okay.
Cool, yeah.
Okay.
But is she funny though? Do you use some of her stuff?
You know, I ain't used none of her stuff yet. You know, I ain't
got around to it.
You know, I just wrote so much. I ain't got to her notebook yet. You know, so yeah.
Got a lot of things on my plate right now.
So much going on in the, you know, the pandemic hit. If the pandemic wouldn't have hit, I would have hit her notebook by now. You know, but the show was slowed down.
Hey, she like it's over now. So when you gonna slide this one? I just sent this one to you.
Man, you know what? While we on that, because I know a lot of comedians, everybody want to tell y'all what to say on stage. And y'all always hear. Have you ever heard somebody just tell you a fucking knockout, dope, super funny joke? Because I know most of them are lame. Have you ever just got blown away by a motherfucker's idea?
I do have comics that will, like, they give you tags, you know, or they'll tell you how to, like, you know, pipe up a tag or, you know, so I appreciate those. So I've had people, Alonzo Bolding told me a very way to change a joke around. And at first I'm like, oh, they laugh. You know, let me rock with it. But he explained, if you say this, it'll make it, because it's a joke. It's a satirical joke playing on people's, you know, intellect. And he was like, if you say this, it'll really drive home the fact that people are dumb. And like, he was like, it'll really, because I do, you know, a joke about Donald Trump saying he talked to the president of the U.S. Virgin Islands, you know, or I used to say the president of the Virgin Islands. And he was like, put U.S. Virgin Islands in front of it, and it's gonna blow people's mind, because he literally, you saying he talked to himself, why not drive it home? And I was like, you are so right. Damn. You know, so it just, you know, some people will help you punch up stuff. And there's a comic here named David Scott. He's an older white guy, and he literally will write your tags out on stage while you're on stage and give them to you. And I used to like be like, why is he doing this? But he will catch stuff that because you do crowd work, you engage, you do things. Like I record myself on stage so I can come back and catch those things, but catching it from another perspective, and then a perspective that's so different from you in comedy. It just helps you layer yourself as a comic. You know, I don't go into the same type of rooms every time I do comedy. So to get that perspective, I like it. You know, I'll be like, come on now, if I don't get my piece of paper, I'll be mad. Like, baby, where my shit?
Like, I was sleepy today, so I
where my tags at? Run me my shit.
I'm about to say, what is a tag?
Funny.
Like an idea or like a point to touch on? Or?
It's like a bullet point, basically, where you know that punch is. Like, for me, you know, my crock pot. So crock pot is a tag, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that joke.
So do you write everything out? Like, do you just have some moments where you just go up and you're like, I'm just going to do some shit and see what works, or just freestyle the shit?
It's a combo. I mean, I always try to, like, you know, pull out tags that I'm ready for. But sometimes you just have to go a different way and a different route. It's like, I see, like, it's like driving downtown and like, shit, this is a one-way street. I got to turn another way, you know? So you just kind of have to redirect yourself. You can't, like, I used to, you know, have comics make fun of me because they be like, you just be back here trying to memorize notes. You can't do that. Like, it's going to, and you do go blank when you go on stage. But for me, I just kind of like to have a base. I'm a visual person. So if I feel like I'm struggling on stage, I will start picturing bullet points and try to figure out where I can, you know, hit a crowd at. So sometimes it's a full-fledged writing process. I think just for memorization to get the flow or, you know, understanding of a joke. But I try not to get too much into my head with, like, writing, because that memorization is where you make yourself, I feel like, make myself nervous.
Okay. How long have you been doing comedy, stand-up comedy? Have you?
I'm gonna say I feel like I've hit a 10-year mark. It's because I took a pause when I moved to Texas. I felt like I didn't go as hard. So I feel like maybe 2016 or 17 is a rebirth for me. That's when I like understood what I was capable of. So I don't want to count all them back years. That was just me slutting. Like,
I need more time.
Slutting around a little bit.
Yeah. Just to understand the business aspect, and then just to understand, like, I used to get caught up in my head, but now it's like, nah, I know, like, I'm funny. Like, fuck that. Like, like, I ain't gonna say I'm Dave Chappelle, but nigga, my middle name might be Dave.
Okay. Man, I heard you talk about those blank points because I can remember I did stand-up comedy like 3 times in my life, and there was nothing like too special about it. But the first time I went up there, I hit a blank fucking moment, and that was my biggest fucking fear. I kept thinking about, like, what if you forget? Because I had like 8 jokes memorized front to back, and I got up there. I think I did like 3, and couldn't forget the next one. And that was the thing. I was stressing over what was coming next, and I sat there and forgot. But it came back within like 3 seconds, so it wasn't too big of a gap. But how do you deal with that now? Or does that even happen for you anymore? But what do? You just freeze?
Yeah, it happens. I mean, I brain fart all the time. Or, like, I'll be in the middle of a joke, and something will happen where I have to engage with the audience because you just don't want to lose that moment. And I'll be like, damn, what joke was I telling? I don't even know.
That's horrible.
Where was that? What the fuck was we talking? And it's been times where I've been like, hey, y'all, what was we talking about? You know,
Right.
You know, but sometimes you have to, like, you have to kind of reset. Either am I gonna go back into this joke? If I go back into it, will it still be funny? Or are we gonna be at the same point? Or should I pivot and let this moment rock and just move on? You know, but sometimes you get greedy when, you know, a joke hit. You don't want to miss, you know, like, I know some jokes hit, and I be like, nah, I want that nut, you know. So,
I'm about to get this motherfucker.
yeah,
I can't let it go.
I'm gonna remember which position we was in.
Oh my god.
Have you ever just had like a joke where you're like, oh, maybe that shit went too far, or maybe the room is not feeling this shit right now?
Yeah, I used to tell domestic violence jokes.
Oh shit!
I did, and I mean,
Always touchy.
yeah. And it's crazy because like I've done them. Like I did this joke at Firefly Lounge or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Firefly.
yeah. No, not that one.
Not that one?
The wine dot one. What is
the
it? Firelight.
Oh, the Firelight.
Yeah,
Rough crowd.
yeah. No, they like hitting bitches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the joke resonated.
Okay.
That's what said.
They was with it.
That was that. I understand.
I was cool. I've been waiting to hit this.
I got that joke. I felt where she was coming from.
That's funny.
I did the joke at a ball type of situation in Topeka. Like
Like a player's ball or
no.
Oh, okay.
It was I don't even
Who said they had quiet?
It was like it was in a ballroom setting kind of ish,
Oh,
but I was
okay.
performing with a band. Like I was kind of like they opening act or whatever.
oh my god.
And yeah, I did the joke. And, you know, of course, as a comedian, you clean it up. Like when you realize, ooh, it didn't go so well, let me reset. But after the show, this guy came up to me and was like, you know, I used to hit bitches and this is not funny. And I'm like, as you telling me this, I'm laughing though.
Yeah. So it resonated with you, huh, my brother?
Like he was just like, domestic violence is never funny and you could trick. And I understood like that social responsibility, you know, concept of like, hey, maybe I can't do this. But then I'm like, comedy is subjective and, you know, my bad. I'm sorry. You know, I wasn't trying to trigger anybody, but you had to have heard it last week at Firelight.
My brother, maybe you need some classes or something, my brother. Anger management or something.
Like,
Talking
it
about my
was a
jokes.
banger. So I was, you know, I mean, you had a moments or whatever where you feel it. You know, I've just gotten a little bit better with if I feel it to kind of get out of it, or I make fun of the fact like, oh, that's dark. Like, y'all wasn't ready for that. Like, because, you know, it's, on the way in the car, I was like, they gonna love this shit, you know. So, you know, you just kind of dance out of it, you know.
So do you
Okay.
ever feel like you're gonna bring your own little? Oh, I guess I know you was talking about moving out of town or something like that. But before you moved out of town the last time, you had your own little joint going on that you invited me to. The Just Laughs, right? You ever want to bring those back?
I do. I just, that venue that we did it at, you know, just it was just, you know, it was just an amazing opportunity. I think when you get into producing comedy, you never want to be hit over the head, and you never want to hit other comics over the head. So that was just, you know, an opportunity where it felt so real to do it. Like, I love producing shows, but it can take away from you enjoying comedy or comedians.
Yeah, of
you know
course,
what I'm
of
saying? So now that I have gotten into the flow of like really doing shows every week, I don't know if I would want to go back to like throwing myself into trying to build that platform, because at the same time you still trying to build yourself as a comic. And the way the industry is now, everybody is like, if you don't have 1 million followers, like you're nobody and you're never gonna be funny. And I'm like, oh my god, but if you come to this show with me and these 30 people, I am a hoot. Like, god damn it. So
Oh my god.
I mean, I want to go back to producing, but I think I would rather collaborate. Like, I just couldn't just throw myself out there. Like, it would have to be on I would love to collaborate with some of the festivals I've worked with, or even you, Cortez.
We should.
But just,
I like your vision.
Sound like some business coming along over here.
Yeah.
Look at that.
When I first started doing comedy, I would go to. They used to call it rooms. So I used to go to her room, and it was at somewhere in Missouri. I wasn't even familiar with it.
The Arts Bar, Uptown Arts Bar was one of them, and then
this was before that one. This was like it was. I remember it was a white room, and they had white couches.
Club 700.
That's what it was called.
Yeah. I forgot about that one.
So you had a comedy showcase, is what y'all talking about? That's what you had?
Well, she had it every.
We used to be down at KUAW.
Kudos.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we moved to Club 700, and then I ended up moving to the Arts Bar. But that's when I had like a partner. But we would do Just Laugh Mondays or whatever, Just Laugh Thursdays, whatever day we could get out of that venue, you know. And it was nice. It was nice.
That's when I first met her. She was on stage. It was like probably like 10 people in there. It was a group of girls that came from somewhere, and I thought you knew them. I promise I thought she knew them. And she was clowning with them. They was all laughing, and she didn't know them at all, but it felt like it felt like the whole time they was all friends, like they was interactive. And that was the first time I was like, damn, like I want to do what she do, because it was crowd work. And like crowd work, people don't understand. Like, if you at an event and you have your jokes, right, and you forget your jokes, crowd work is one of those things where you can rely on until you can figure that shit back out in your head. Because sometimes you can be talking about a joke and then something would trigger a joke that you were just talking about somebody's shoes, and you was like, damn, my uncle. You back on the same page. Right. So when I used to see her do, I used to try to practice that shit. You and Kevin Rose. That's all. These two people used to do so much crowd work. I didn't even know that I didn't even know she wrote the jokes.
People would make comics would pressure me about that.
So it's not freestyling when you do a crowd work. You already have it worked out. Is what you're saying?
Sometimes it is, like, for instance, like Bobby J. I probably went to Bobby J's shows. I don't know how many times. But Bobby J, the way he does his shows, it seems like he's making this shit up on top of his head. But he has so many jokes that once he go into the crowd, he can keep multiplying off of a joke that he already did. So like he'll say, "Oh man, you look like you a carpenter or you a mechanic or whatever," and then he'll go right into a mechanic joke. So it seemed like he talking about him, but when you go into a mechanic joke, it's still on that guy. So it seemed like it's freestyled, but it's not. He's already written. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that shit cold. Like to show up to a place and you be like, is this nigga really going in on him? But he really already had this joke down. He's just using it on him.
So would you consider yourself, in that case, would you consider yourself a writer? Because that seems like something that you have to plan out. That's something that you have to think about, opposed to just getting up there.
You remember what she was saying about the notes that the guy was taking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like she already know the tag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just figure like a writer, like you said, your mom, right?
I'm a writer by heart, just because I come from, before I started comedy, I was a poet. And so it's a natural thing for me to want to regurgitate something on stage that is written. But when you think about memorization, that's the element that will trip you up, Yeah. So for me, I like to write, but I'm also an empath. I'm a huge empath. And I'm also a clairvoyant kind of person. I read energy. So for me, I'm a room reader. So that's where I feel like I have to work a crowd. When I started stand-up, I started because I knew I was naturally funny. Like I could find something in a room or a moment that would make everybody like laugh at this moment. So when you now are doing 10-minute sets, 30-minute sets, 40-minute sets, hour-minute, hours, you have to get into that point where you have to be able to have written material, but be able to know how to bring it up. Yeah. Because once you get to the point of performing every weekend, you're going to have the same set or the same base, but being able to read that audience and know when to work it in or how to. Like, I go to doing comedy clubs to churches. So, and people ask me how I do that. And I'm like, I do crock pot in the church. Yeah. Like, I've done that joke. You just have to know how to shift the language in it or the energy in it to where it's not as aggressive in this manner. Or it
seemed like that one would have been hard. You got to be dope to switch up crock pot pussy for the church crowd.
I am Dave Chappelle.
I get you. You got to be.
I mean, like one of my favorite things to do when I tell people, like, this is when I feel like I'm a comic. Like, I like to create a callback at a show. Something that happened in that moment at a show right then and there. And I'm going to go on that topic the whole show. And I'm going to bring it up to the point where we all saying it by the end of the show. I.e. Gregory. You know, that's just one of those things. Like, I want y'all to see what I see. And then let's make fun of it. I love creating that callback. So you genuinely get funny. You don't get like, this is pre-written, pre-rehearsed. Like, this chick came in this room and she wrote this joke for me at this moment, at this time. And I think people appreciate that, especially after this pandemic. Y'all got to buy 2 tickets just to get in the club, So I want to curate that moment of funny for you and the takeaway. Like, I love now hearing people run up to me and yell Gregory or yell Crockpot or yell at me about the U.S. Virgin Islands or something. Just whatever, or I was at your little show the other night, your little jokes, you know, and I'm like, That
was the first joke. That I
heard.
The first joke, he was like, why everything gotta be little? I never thought about that. Every time somebody say little something, I'd be like, it ain't little.
It's not.
It's my big dreams.
Yeah.
Shit actually ain't little.
Yeah. It's
ain't little at all.
I'm a big girl, so.
Nope. I remember that one.
What is your writing process like? Because I hear a lot of people have different, like I remember when I used to write and I would sit there with a pen sometimes when I found it the wrong way. You just get a pen and a paper and you try to think of something, or you just going about your day and something hits you. Do you grab something? Like, is your memory good, or do you write it down? Like, how does the joke start?
Nah, I be thinking, I learned that every time I be like, I'm going to use this. Girl, you better write it down or record it because you're not going to remember it. It has to be something like, it has to be a very organic. I can't just force myself and be like, you know what, I'm going to block out 2 hours a day and I got to write. You know what I'm saying? Sit down on a notebook and I'm going to hit it. You know, like, it just has to be an organic process. A lot of my comedy comes from, ironically, being on the phone with my friends. And I've gotten better at being like, hold on, bitch, shut up. I got to write this down or I got to record it, because just so I can catch that moment. Because a lot of the times on stage, I'll prefab, like I'll tell y'all why I wrote a joke, you know, like, or this is what happened to me, you know, or this is my life, you know. So, it just has to be organic. I do, like I said, I heavy write and I'll write out those paragraphs, but at the same time, I like to tag them and break them down so I'm not tripping up on stage trying to, you know, work out words. And so, but I mean, I love writing just because I like writing, and I'm hoping that one day I'm in somebody's writer's room too. Like, it's more than just stage for me. Like, I would love to expound on my humorous interpretation.
Nice.
I see that coming.
So would you say the situation that we saw earlier before recording, were you thinking of a joke about that, or were you just like, nah, I've probably done something like this before?
I
what
think
situation?
we'll
They have
tell
no
you.
situation going.
I thought you was pulling up in the parking lot, but it wasn't.
Oh, the crackhead.
Yeah.
Cortez wasn't here yet.
In that situation, it's such a story. Yeah, it's such a storytelling situation, you know. So it has to be the right setting to be able to. You have to have, like, I feel like an intimate. Like, I did a show Monday for the Kansas City Theater Fund, and it was just such an intimate situation. I mean, it's a room full of like 60 to 80 people, but it's still like that. You can have that storytelling moment where you can take the time, and it doesn't have to be punch after punch after punch. You can kind of build up, you know. And sometimes, like, I'll tell jokes where I build up, and then the last part is like the wackest part of the joke, and I'll be like, yeah, that's not really a joke, it's a testimony. Like, I'm just trying to tell you what happened to me, you know. Like, this is, hey, be careful when you standing outside, you know, getting a smoke break at the podcast studio. Be careful, you know. So
and the kid
it
go
has
down.
to be the right. Yeah, it has to be the right. Like, now, don't think that I'm not gonna ever not tell people that I saw Shorty from Houston up here at the BP on 70 in Leavenworth Road. But okay. Also, I feel empowered because I drive a Chrysler, so I too now want to kick bitches out of my car.
At the gas station.
With the doors wide open, drive down the street
first. You better get in at Quick Trip before I do, because I'm leaving you.
Oh, my God.
It was hilarious. We had to tell you about it. You did. It was pretty good.
Man.
All right, besides... All right, go ahead.
You know, well, I was just going to say, I wasn't going to ask a question. I was just going to say the nice thing, the cool thing about you is, you, like you said, you'll do a show at places that I've been living in Kansas City all my life, and I'm like, wait, what's that? Or where's that at? Or just diversity, different places opposed to just the same places that you hear comics perform at. So I think that is really neat to have just a difference, not just one set of people or one crowd of people. You can just make comedy with anybody, and especially as being a woman, a black woman at that. So That's just amazing. That's
love
just
it.
amazing.
Can
Man, I
we
think you
just-
got to be dope to do comedy anywhere outside of a fucking comedy club.
Yeah.
Because
It
people
makes you
come to a comedy club, they ready to laugh. Motherfuckers be saying there while they in, about to go get my laugh on, get
Yeah.
my drink on.
Yeah.
But when you pop up, niggas eating barbecue, and you just start telling jokes.
Hey, and
If
people
you can get
laughing.
them,
Yeah.
you a cold motherfucker to
Yep.
me. Because,
Yep.
you know what I mean? I didn't come here for that. I came here for the sauce.
Yeah,
Because
right.
motherfuckers started doing comedy.
I
But-
low key, like, I recently just lost my big brother, and it was like the hardest, like, emotional drawback ever. And I was like, will I ever be funny again? You know, like,
Wow.
this is so triggering for me. And I feel like my first set had to occur at Cato's. We was at a store, you know, the clothing store. And I'm getting these shoes, and I'm like, man, I should not get these shoes, but I'm going to get them. It's my birthday, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, I deserve. And this lady going to pop out yelling at me about why you should get the purse. And I went off, and I was like, ma'am, like, you don't know my budget. You don't know my life. Why are you encouraging me to go buy more drugs? What kind of drug dealer are you? You know? So I'm going off on her. Another lady come over and was like, yeah, I feel you, because bitches always be, you know. And the next thing you know, I'm standing in front of 10 women, like, in a semicircle, bitching at them about shopping.
Yeah.
And the perils
Checking
of,
in.
like, yeah, like, how we be out here spending money. But, you know, I love to empower people in my jokes. But I was like, I get why we do it, because we never, as Black women, never want to feel the way we look. You know what I'm saying? Or look the way we feel. You know, we go through a lot. We carry a lot on our shoulders, especially mourning. We can't mourn because we have to be stronger for others. We have to hold stuff in. We can't, you know, we can't just break down crying at the Piggly Wiggly, you know.
Yeah.
So just that, I bought these shoes to make me feel better. I had to bury my brother a week before my birth. Like, that's a couple of days before my birthday. That's a very tragic circumstance to me, to celebrate life when grieving such a life in my, you know. So to just be able to have that moment and be like, I'm gonna treat myself, I'm gonna take care, I'm gonna comb my hair, I don't want to look like depression. And I think that's what a lot of us do. We go into debt looking good so we don't feel the way we have to feel.
Yeah.
And, you know, and so
Are you preaching?
That's
yeah.
true.
it's true. And so that's when I realized, like, you still have that gift. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you all the time, like, it's bigger than just the stage to me. Like, I want to be able to write. I want to be able to create and pivot and empower people through, like I said, I became a comedian because people belittled me. And I felt like, I'm going to take back my power. You cannot control my emotions. Your mama's ugly. You know?
Right
Like,
now.
yeah, like, so I think comedy is such a powerful tool, and it's also a very big tool when it comes to mental health. It's a very big tool and a mental health proponent in my life, and so it saved me so many times. And, like, now that I've studied it, not just the art of it, but the actual components of laughing, like, it literally scientifically changes your whole body, and your people live longer if they laugh. Like, it helps lower your blood pressure. It helps reset your endorphins. If you are in pain, laugh. It literally helps reset your mental and your physical and your body, as well as the chemistry in your body. So I just appreciate it so much more, you know, like, and I feel like I lost my brother to suicide. So I have to go 10 times harder in the spectrum of, like, really respecting life. And for me, laughter is life, you know. So I like to be funny everywhere, like, in any given moment. Like, and I feel like now, even if you say you want to pay me $12 to perform at your baby shower, I used to be like, nah, bitch, you know. But now I'm like, you know what? If you feel like you need me in a space of laughter, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, because I realize the gift and what it does, you know, and just laughter, period. Like, you saving somebody's life, you know.
Yeah.
You're right.
Did you feel better after you went off on old girl?
I did. I mean, especially when women gathered around to help me, and, you know, so we
All hell Janell.
right, you know, but just to get that, you know, to get that space where I could get a small crowd and to be able to reach and resonate with people. Like, because I have people don't know, I have a social anxiety. Like, I don't like being around groups of people nor speaking in front of people. That's major for me. But being behind a microphone or being in front of a group of people for a certain purpose, it just changes that whole, like, it resets that switch for me.
That is crazy to hear. Like, when I hear people who have to be on stage say they don't like really being around a big group of people,
Mhm.
but they can perform
Mhm.
in a big group of people. Because I'm like, that would make me nervous. Like, I feel like I can be around a bigger crowd individually, like just, hey, but if I get on stage or if I get somewhere and everybody's looking at me, I'm like, oh, that's
That's why you gotta be funny, so they ain't looking at you.
Yeah, but see, even if they even in public speaking, you know what I mean, just doing anything, it's like shit, I just like, I don't want all the attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just odd to hear people say that though.
I don't like being a center, but I think being a black woman and then being chubby, people start to break you down and analyze you and then start to try to make fun of you or start to, sometimes people try to amp they insecurities up by belittling you.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so for me, like, it's a struggle to be like the center of attention under lights, but that's why my material is the way I'm gonna make fun of the elephant in the room, which is me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that way, all that shit that y'all was about to say, I said it, I won, you know?
Exactly.
And so
exactly.
it's just, honing in and taking your power.
Yeah.
Man, just like she said, because we've had these conversations where you say public speaking, you shy and you're introverted and stuff like that. But when I see you on stage, it's like totally fucking opposite. It's
Right.
like you seem like the most confident person in the world.
Yeah.
So knowing that, like, a lot of people already face a fear on getting on stage, but for a person who, like, because it's never went away, like, you never, like, got, like, away from that when you go up there, you don't just have the confidence, you still nervous when you hit the stage?
I still am, but there is a moment where I'll get into my set once I get a couple of laughs out.
Mhm.
Like I said, I'm a room reader. So once I feel that energy, I'm like, okay, I got them. Let's go. It's like I feel like a choir director, and I'm just kind of like,
Mhm.
I know this is going to hit them there. Also, I'm possessed by a very funny ghost. So, true story.
What is her name?
No, Just Jay was a very well-known comic from Kansas City, and he was booming. Like, he was booming. He, we lost him at a very early age and at a very pivotal point in his career.
Mhm.
People don't know. We grew up, we were best friends, and he
I
came.
think people should do a documentary on him.
Absolutely.
I think there should be one.
Absolutely.
I'm one of those people who have heard the name but don't know the story.
I don't know.
He
I don't know
was
the story.
hilarious. I've
He's
been to a couple of
amazing.
his
He's-
shows.
Everybody got a name.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody got something good to say about him.
Yeah, he was a phenomenal force, but that was my best friend growing up.
Wow.
And I was on the debate team. Ironically, I did humorous and terp. My debate coach was a stickler. Like, I did debate, like hardcore cross-ex, Congress, Lincoln Douglas debate.
Mhm.
But I would advance to the next round, which would be on Saturday, which would be like the forensics and interpretation events.
Mhm.
And my coach was like, y'all not finna sit around in this cafeteria all fucking day. Y'all gonna pick up a forensics event. Butterflies, motherfucker, go act. Like,
Okay.
so I picked up humorous interpretation, and I was good at it. I did a piece called The Color Museum by George C. Wolfe, iconic piece in Black history. And this little black girl would go up here and do all these little voices and actions and just pivot and 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 I qualified in state nationals. I was that motherfucker. Like, you knew me in South Kansas City on the debate teams, you know.
Okay.
And so at the same time, he's booming in comedy. And I'm like, man, teach me, because I know scripts. I'm funny out here. Like, I got trophies, But he like, nah, bruh, it's different. Comedy is a whole different construct when you on stage. It's a different energy. It's just different. Fast forward, I go off to college. He's like now really in his career to where he's on stage with big cats. So I became our campus activities board president, and I would start booking like Kevin Hart to come to our school. And he was a person who would put me in contact with Kevin Hart. So I didn't have to go to Kevin Hart's agent. I would just personally call Kevin Hart, like, hey, my homeboy gave you my number, your number. And cool experience. Met Kevin Hart, kicked it with him. Kevin would call me in the middle of class, what you doing, Banks? I'm like, I'm in college. Like, I'm in class, Mr. Hart. What the fuck? Like,
The fuck you doing?
Yeah, like, you ready for the show? You ready for the show? Like, yeah, we ready, nigga. Like, calm down, But, and then I, in turn, would, like, book Jay to come up. And then that's how I met Bobby J. And so that was kind of my introduction into comedy. I used to be a booker, in college. And
Damn.
so I would meet
I need some help. We need some help on this show.
I would book. I brought Rick Ross and Young Jock to Mo West. Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm still
Damn.
bitter at Rick Ross for that night. But Yeah, like I came from that world of like going to NACA and stuff like that and learning how to book artists and bring artists to the university. And so in turn, I was able to book my friend. But I'm still on this like train of like, hey, can you put me in the game? Because I think I'm funny, you know. So fast forward, I start kind of like hosting stuff at school. Like I was that person that would always be on the mic or whatever. Anyways, long story short, Jay passed on and went to our Heavenly Father, hallowed be thy name. And it just was a weird period in my life trying to understand because he was younger and he was very the way I met him was weird. And then he was connected because he would go to dialysis and he met my grandparents through dialysis. So it was just a lot. But then somebody dared me to do stand up. I did it and I started going through these circles of meeting people who he met and who he started his journey with in Kansas City. So it felt like, you know, like, this is weird, but I ain't gonna say nothing about it. But one time I did a show and I would tell people when I first started doing stand-up, I didn't know what I was saying. I would black out and just do crowd work. I never had a set. I just go up there and talk shit to people about the obvious in the room. So I sent footage to him or his ex-wife and Bobby J. And she was like, it's weird because it literally is like watching him. Y'all are very similar. And, you know, he was known as the freestyle king of comedy. And I'm a person who don't write jokes. I'm just making fun of shit. So I'm a freestyler, you know. So she was like, it's very eerily weird to watch y'all because it's like watching you. And anytime I've worked with anybody, they're like, you're a girl, but it's like being on stage with a dude. I have a very masculine presence. So I just kind of chalked it up to maybe this is him. When I go on stage, I pray to God and I pray to him because I do feel like it's just me continuing and carrying his legacy. That's all I see it as, you know, because I don't like people. I don't like dealing with the logistics of comedy. I don't like, you know, being around crowds, but it's something about being able to know I'm doing it for him. It just it puts me at ease. So y'all see Janell, but this is very much Jay. And his presence. That's my motto is just laugh. I go by Miss Just Laugh, and that's to carry his legacy. I've always been known as Jay.
I didn't either. I didn't either. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I've always known his
name was just Jay.
Yeah.
So, and people have always called me Jay. So I never wanted to go on stage and be like, "Hey, my name is Just Jay," because that would be, you know. So that's So I just always wanted to carry a piece of him, you know, with me because I honestly feel like this is the only reason why I'm here. You know. And I'm very thankful to him and his family. And I did a show a couple of years ago and ran into his little brother, and I hadn't seen his brother since he was a kid. And we just had this conversation, and it was crazy. Like the apartment I live in, I won't move out of because that's where Jay passed. Like I end up moving where he last left. And I was like, if that ain't no sign, because that's when my comedy career picked up. When I moved back here, I left the relationship and was like, I'm going to focus on me and what I love. And I just happened to be in the same walls he did it. And so I was like, I have to, you know, acknowledge that gift and move forward with it.
Wow. Yeah, Jay was hilarious.
That's interesting.
Hilarious.
I watched a couple of footage on him, but I haven't seen nothing clear though.
Yeah, I mean, because this is back in the time before cell phones and stuff like that. You know, this is when we had the flips and, you know, or we didn't have a camera. We was T9ing. So,
Because that's crazy because we worked together at Sprint, and I used to just hear him just roast people, like especially people who thought they, you know,
and his voice, that voice carried through everywhere
because it did. Because as soon as we knew he was in the break room, we was running in there like, oh, he talking about somebody, like hurrying up and getting on phone,
motherfuckers like what?
Getting in trouble and shit all the time. But he was a good comedian.
Yeah, so that's why I do it, y'all. I just am a ghost. I'm a ghost.
But that's cool, just to put the just in there. I never knew where that came from. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you these questions. Can I ask the questions?
We ready.
Okay.
We ready. Let's go.
Rapid fire.
You know what I'm saying? So I think I should put writer because I do ask this question too. If you could be any other profession that you wanted to, just anything, what would it be?
Oh, a lawyer.
Okay. A lawyer. Why a lawyer? Is it the debate thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I aspired to be my entire life. I went to school and majored in criminal justice and legal studies. My next goal was to be, go to law school. my end game is still to blow up in comedy and pay for law school.
Oh,
So
dope.
I still want to. I mean, I work at a law firm. People don't know that I work at a law firm. They know what I do. They're very supportive of it. And luckily, they've let me travel the world and travel to other offices and, you know, be able to still work and pursue, you know, comedy. So,
because they know you're going to blow up.
I mean, maybe. And I'm hoping one of them will
Trying to
be
burn
my
no
attorney.
bridges.
I be trying to tell my boss all the time, you want to look at this contract real quick with me, girl.
Okay, let me
Get a
see.
little free work around this motherfucker.
Like, we'll bill you.
Yeah, I'm the only team or the only person on the team that I work with that doesn't have a JD, but you know, I aspire to, and that's why I like keep them in my circle.
Yeah,
I want them to mold
Look
me.
at that. Network, and work.
Yes.
Okay, so we ask a question. Well, 2 questions. Your top 5 favorite comedians in your top 5 movies. Have we decided to do just comedies with movies, or?
Some people just take it to another level anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So whichever
Like
one.
the Color Purple was dope. Like, man, hell.
It wasn't meant to be funny. It was funny, but it wasn't meant to be.
I mean,
funny
when
when
you
it's
said
beating her
nasty
ass.
woman's disease, it was a wrap for me, you know.
So I guess your top 5. Try to stick to comedies with movies, but if not, just go ahead and discuss. You
So
know.
top 5 comedic movies?
Yes.
Ooh, that's hard.
Or you can do comedians, whichever one you want to do first.
Yeah, I just feel like we'll be here all day over here. Comedians is hard too, because now when you actually get into the world of working with comedians or meeting comedians that you idolize and they wasn't shit, and you like,
Oh.
I don't
Scratch
think I
your
like
bitch
you
ass
now.
off my lip.
Yeah, you ain't getting into heaven, dog. Richard Pryor ain't finna see you. But it's hard. I mean, I think also when you begin to work with somebody too, and if they actually take the time to love on you and mentor you, it changes that dynamic.
Yeah.
You know, top 5. I mean, always Whoopi Goldberg. Just was my representation of that black girl that people didn't think was, you know, beauty standards, and she's fucking beautiful and a fucking pimp. I aspire to love like she does. Mom's Mabley. Just because iconically, I mean, she taught us how to make money and how to do it and how to stack your bread, you know.
Somebody else said that.
Richard Pryor.
Oh, man.
Cause
She got a dope ass list through 3.
Richard Pryor is that. Rodney Perry. Rodney was always a favorite of mine. Rodney does this thing, and I've kind of latched onto it. Like, you pick somebody in the audience, you give them a name. Who gives a fuck about their name? And you just rock with them. That's my callback. You know what I'm saying? You just pick on that one audience member. And I like giving them a name that's super, you know, like if it's a white dude, I'm like, okay, what's up, Richard, Tommy, Jerry, you know, and you just call them that the whole night. And when you do a joke, be like, did you like that, Jerry? That was funny. Cool. You know,
He did me like that at his damn comedy show.
yeah. And I love that. But also personally, to be able to work with him, he's a stand-up person and just a mentorship. Like, that's the person that's gonna call and check on you. That's the person that's gonna make sure like you good, or you have an understanding. Anytime I make a business move, that's the person that's gonna be like, hey, you stupid, but you gotta learn. You know, you gotta learn.
That's dope to have, though.
Yeah, it's very dope to have, because it's hard. It's so hard to trust people in comedy, because people can be your best friend and still be steering you the wrong way, you know, and sometimes it's not intentional. Sometimes they stupid too, but it's still like, dang, you know, it's just very hard to trust. And sometimes people don't want you to outshine them, so they're always going to keep you at a level of where it's comfortable for them to be next to you, you know. So, he is also a very important piece in my life. And I need one more that it's hard because it's so
It's always the 5th one.
I'm gonna have to, right now I have to say it's Dave Chappelle. Just because, I mean, he's always been controversially himself. And I think anybody who stands on resilience and stands on the fact that this is who I am, y'all grew to appreciate me because of my stance.
Right.
But also that he's an articulate, educated man, that his jokes, like this whole he's anti this. I'm just like, nah, G. Like, I don't see it. This is a man having a conversation about how he understood or interpreted something. He has now redirected his thought process, but he also wants you to understand in this world, in this midst of what's going on, this is why I derived at my thought process. We had, like he said, empathy is bisexual. It goes both ways. In order for me to understand and interpret your world, you have to understand why I interpret you this way. Our world has been this way for so many years. Now we switching it up. Now it's more than male and female. You know, now sexual preference is a gender. Like, what? You know, science. It's changed, you know. So it's not meant to make fun of people. And that's what I love about his comedy, is that I feel like he's an equal opportunity discriminator. And I just feel like what comedy is so subjective. It's art. It's a form of art. Art is subjective. And when we start to get into these nitpicking conversations about, I don't like this, and he's trying to destroy this whole group of people, what we have to understand about comedy is comedy's always been to destroy a group of people. Like, that's what we've been doing, is laughing at marginalized groups forever. You had comics make fun of Jews. You had comics make fun of blacks, black women. Oh my God. Not only are we made fun of, now people dress up like us and imitate us and impersonate us. So if we were offended by blackface, what do you think cross-dressing is? You know? So it's so many levels to where people find humor in things that people don't. And if you don't like it, then move around. Don't go subject yourself to it. It's the whole old school ideology. The stove is hot. Don't touch it, stupid. And if you felt like something was going to be offensive, then why would you indulge in it? I don't like scary movies, so I don't fuck with Mike Myers, you know?
I
don't fuck with Freddy Krueger. Why would they just be stabbing people and cutting people? And why is there, you know what I'm saying? I don't do that shit. So I just hate, like, I love that he stands on his point, and that I think it's more of, I'm doing this to make comedy still be able to be comedy. Because if we keep going at this route, we can't have stand-up. I became a stand-up comedian because people called me fat and black. I saw the funny in that. I saw a way to flip that narrative. So I feel like if people are so offended by shit, then join the group and offend other motherfuckers, because we will never find a level of understanding in comedy. And I just love that he is just so, I think he's not doing it for him, but he's doing it for the rest of us. So the rest of us can have an art form and have, because this is our livelihood. I want comedy to be my livelihood. I ain't gonna lie, comedy is paying for my braces, but but I want it to be what Cardi say, I got a bag and fix my teeth.
Hell yeah.
Like, but it just, you know, to be able to go into clubs, and because when we go into clubs, our group, our audience is so diverse, and half of that audience we can't see because we're in a pitch black room almost, you know what I'm saying? And you never want to just sit up there and be like, should I say this? Can I not say this? Can I not say this? Because the goal is, if 7 people laugh, 10 people gonna laugh, 10 people laugh, 15 people gonna laugh, and it's just gonna keep trickling down. And so it just, I can't appreciate somebody that is not greedy, who is not gonna flip back and forth to, you know, make mainstream media appeased and happy. Like, he is the GOAT because y'all watched him do what he did for years. Now you're trying to tell me well, he can't say this and that. And me being in this community, and I tell people all the time, I'm a lesbian. I'm in the LGBTQAIJ Sega Genesis.
You know what? This fool.
I am. And so for me, if y'all mad, how the fuck am I supposed to go up on stage and represent us and have a voice if you tear down everything, or if it's constantly combative, or everything is an issue? We make fun of things. We are going to get made fun of. We grown ass people walking around wearing rainbows butt naked. We are an easy target. You know what I'm saying? But you have to understand, in order to get, you got to give to society. You can't just box off and be like, y'all can't say shit about us, and if you do, we gonna take away every single thing from you. And it's hard for me as a black person to see another black person lose. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still black before I'm in the LGBTQ Sega Genesis.
That's all I'm hearing is Sega.
That was gonna be one of my questions for you.
That's all the other letters we gonna steal. You know what I'm saying? So
The Dave Chappelle issue is gonna be one of my questions, and you went in. I like the response.
Yeah, because I was
I was waiting to see her response too.
So
that was big.
But bringing that up, being like you said, being in the community, what are most people like? Are they just mad because he's giving his opinion?
I don't know. I just feel like, and I, before I say this, I don't want to offend anybody, and I definitely don't want to offend anybody on your platform or anything, because I love everybody. And let me tell you, I love trans people because it's the best of both worlds. I'm going to just keep it real. I don't want y'all to feel a certain way because I'm turned on and turned up.
Listen to the breathing. This fool.
I don't know what letter that give me in the LGBTQ. But hear me out. I feel like anytime you say trans and you lead with the thought, it's going to offend people.
Yeah.
Anytime you say gay and you lead with a thought, no matter what you say, you can say Ninja Turtles, rabbits, and butterflies after that. Somebody going to be like, so you trying to say we Ninja Turtle, we live underground? Right. So that's how you feel about our community? Right. You feel that? So you feel like we underground rats?
Right.
In a shell? You think I have a shell? You know, I just feel that
oh my God.
Sometimes that if you put a certain pronoun in front of anything, it just leads people to start. We are now in a world where people give TED Talks, dissertations, and people's opinions are dissertations. We can't agree to disagree anymore because I got to give you a 5-point plan of action, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it just... it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I feel like I'm doing a disservice to being in the LGBTQ community because I tell these jokes, but then it's like this is who I am. This is who I am as a person. You know what I'm saying? Before my pronouns and my preference, this is who I am as a Black woman, you know? So for me, I have to just live through my experiences. I can't write my jokes to make people feel comfortable in their spectrum, you know, or their slot in the rainbow. I have to be okay with what I am, you know, and I try to tell people all the time, it's hard sometimes for us as Black individuals to maneuver in the LGBTQ community because people still don't understand we're Black. We're still fighting the oppression of being Black before I have to fight the oppression of being gay.
Exactly.
I don't even want anybody to know I'm gay. Let's be getting a check for it, you know? So, and it's not that I'm not proud. I just hate that I don't like being a lesbian. People sexualize you. It becomes, I can't have a conversation with somebody asking me like, you like a strap on? Like, where did that come from? Like,
yeah. Like, motherfucker, we in line. Why would you ask me that?
You're at the grocery store.
We're at Starbucks. I just asked you, was the nitro oat milk espresso a good option? You noticed the rainbow and you're like, oh yeah, you in the strap on, like, whoa, you know. So
nigga, asked for cheese, nigga.
Forget the food. Let's talk about.
And even being a comedian, you know what I'm saying? Just being a lesbian as a comedian, like I can be a comic and go tell jokes and be in a green room with comics, you know, and just shoot the shit. The minute it come out, I'm a lesbian. Whoa, so you be dyking, whoa, you know, like. It's an extreme, so it's just
but isn't that what they're trying to do? Is for it not to be that no more? Like for you to be able to sit in the room and for people to know that you're a lesbian and treat you just as like you were treated before.
Exactly.
I think that's what they're. I don't know.
I mean, I think that's the objective. It's the objective. But hear me out.
I say it's a slippery slope, Cortez.
Right.
Them days, everybody.
Like we don't cancel all of them, but we don't cancel that nigga.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it
we
is,
like the other two.
But I think we also live in a day and age. Like I tell people all the time, I'm old school gay. You know what I'm saying? I'm old school. I'm just gay. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't got all these letters and pronouns and stuff. Like I just like scissoring.
Little acronyms and shit. I ain't got all that.
You know, so I ain't got no little, you know, I ain't got no t-shirt. I ain't got none of that shit. And so it's just a different day and age where people are like, I come from where we didn't tell people it was taboo. You know what I'm saying? To just be like, I'm gay. What's up? You know?
Yeah.
And so just being able to like have this new world where like people are just out and they're proud, and now
wild.
it's the
Wild
conversation.
Yeah, they happy.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not mad at that. I love it because I feel like it's great to not feel attacked, but now I feel like we are the attackers because people don't understand it. And you have to understand, well, 2019 was 2, years ago. So, and it wasn't like this, or 2007 wasn't that long
crazy.
ago. You know what I'm saying? Just like 1966 wasn't that long ago.
Wasn't that long ago.
Exactly. So it becomes a point where it's just like, please, can you not always be on the defense? Because I've had arguments with my gay friends like, whoa, bring it down. I'm not trying to argue with you or not tell you your opinion is not valid, but come from a place or perspective where this is completely, I don't know any of this, and I have to understand it. And yes, there's going to be pushback because once again, we've lived in this era for so long. Remember when women didn't have jobs and wore skirts, y'all? Because that wasn't that long ago.
I was going to go into that. So if thinking and actually saying that, I try to explain, and it doesn't make it okay, but you have to be open to how people think. So let's go back to Black people being able to, well, we're really not, but we're supposed to be able to do everything that everyone else gets to do, right? And we have to remember that there are a lot of racist people who are still alive, who are old, but they're still alive, right? And these are people who say, well, I'm not used to Black people being able to do all this shit. And I'm not used to Black people being I mean, real talk, I'm not used to Black people being able to.
It's just funny to hear you say
and that shit makes me uncomfortable to see this shit because you used to
see people's freedom. And that's exactly what this movement is.
So then you have to be like,
niggas all free and shit.
Niggas walking
Grandpa, we're free now. You're like,
Grandpa,
what? Get your ass away from them niggas. Get away. Fuck if they free. I don't give a fuck if they free.
Grandpa and Price Chopper like, look at him touching the lettuce.
Fuck away from
get
them.
Get away from the lettuce.
Did he just go in the door I did too? Yeah.
Where's y'all back door at? Y'all ain't got no back door these niggas be walking into. So
you know what? I hate to say it, but let's be realistic, right, with racism, right? Let's be realistic with racism. It's some people that never even seen Black people before. I met a woman the other day at my job. She said she had one Black kid in her school of a graduation of 600.
Damn.
600 people graduated from her school, one Black person. She said she didn't never see another Black person until she got to college. So she never even experienced Black people. So for
except
a person,
for what you see on TV or something.
Yeah. So when you think about kind of like racism at times, it's like if I never seen Indian people and I did some shit that Indian people didn't like, I they probably would call me racist, but I really don't fucking know if it's racist or not.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it kind of tiptoes on also with the community, like we don't know what is right or wrong.
Right,
yeah.
right.
So it's like
you really don't know what to say. We bite a lot of words not to offend anybody.
And that's the thing is that people don't realize that. People just assume, like, because even I assume you a grown ass person. You know not to make fun of people. You know not to say that. You know not to do this. You know. But I have to. We also have to understand that we've lived in a society where we literally have made fun of things we don't understand.
Yeah.
That's comedy.
Yes.
That's humor. Finding the humor in things. Finding the silver lining. Like I tell people all the time, sometimes finding the humor in things makes things 10 times better than what it is. Like racism is fucked up, but now we can make fun of that shit.
Exactly.
And we have. And we do.
Yeah, all the time.
And
you got to think of how far we've come, even though we're not there yet. But 50 years ago, wasn't no niggas sitting around joking about slavery.
Even
you know what I mean?
But even white people,
it wasn't nothing funny about that shit.
Oh,
they fucked Tommy up the other day. You can't laugh at that shit.
No,
you know what I mean? So
you can. So
we can now.
It's the same thing with our community, and I just feel that sometimes it's hard. And like I tell people all the time, I don't hang out with gay people. You know what I'm saying? I don't fit in.
I don't fit in.
I don't fit in.
But it's just certain things and we just two different entities sometimes. And so, I mean, I understand it and I respect it, but also in order for me to get to a level of respect, you can't be combative, because then if you're combative and you constantly accusing people of being mean to you, then what the fuck you think they gonna do? Be mean to you.
Yeah.
Write jokes about you, punch down on you, get at a concert and talk about some stupid age shit. It's just dumb shit. So sometimes people are not trying to just go in on this harshness of the gay community, and I just wish we would kind of see it. And some of us do. Some of us very much do, and we tread that line and we try to get people to understand. But also, I'm gonna just say this, and I might not be back on y'all podcast.
You can go hard on here.
I think that some people hide behind white privilege in that community. It's still that white privilege. It's still
Talk
that
to 'em.
expectance of wanting things to go your way and wanting to be respected your way. And so therefore, if you're unhappy, you still are white. I don't care what your gender is or what you've preferenced yourself as, you still are white. And sometimes when it comes to the trans world, it gets real heavy because under all of that, you're still a white man. And you're still trying to take a black man's livelihood. You're still trying to tell people that this black person is not worthy of anything they have ever been given. Because you feel a certain way or you feel attacked in this 5-minute moment that is very temporary. Once you leave this club, if you let go of this notion, you won't even think about it. So that's what frustrates me sometimes is I feel like even because I tell people all the time, there's still a huge divide with race in that spectrum. And it's no lie. Even when we talk about the history of Stonewall, like there's a racial divide. We created pride and now we are very much kicked out of it in a lot of spaces and places. And you don't see a lot of black people when it comes to pride. Yeah. And so, or people of color. And so, when you look at that ideology and thought behind it, I see privilege. I just see another form of white privilege, but you'll say, no, I'm in the community. I'm oppressed too. Not to piss nobody off, but sometimes us being gay and how open we are in this gay community and the facade, not the facade, but the lifestyle we choose, it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a choice. Just like I'm a black woman, but I still choose to have pink hair, dreadlocks, tattoos, wear jewelry and shit, knowing that people will ostracize me and look down upon me, but it's a choice. Yeah. Right. So I just feel like you choose to be bold and proud, but yet anytime somebody says something against you, you want to take that person out. But yeah, you have to understand you in a community that is going to be ostracized because every community is ostracized, but this community, come on now. You know what I'm saying? So I just sometimes feel like it's we hiding behind privileges. Yeah. Whether it be white privilege, whether it be male privilege, whether it be Karen privilege, I don't know. But sometimes I feel like that privilege takes over the whole argument. You just want to be right because you've always been right because you're white. Yeah.
I think that's where I have the problem with too. Like I feel like it is a fight, and I promise you, I don't think nobody should be dying before whatever they choose to be or whatever, right? But I do feel like it's easier of a fight for them than it is for us because you are white. Yeah. Like
your voice is going to be heard.
Like
you're going to get backup.
Like you really just fighting. Like I literally step back. You're really just fighting a group of white people with another group of white people. Like that's it. Like black people are sprinkled in there. Other races are sprinkled in there. But like the things that the community wants, they're arguing with another community that doesn't agree with them, which is also white. But then those same white people know that those are those people, and they feel like some type of compassion, right? So it's a little easier of a battle. But when they see us, and we're trying to do the same fucking fight, they don't got no compassion for us. Yeah, like even if they do, right? Like it's for moments. It's like it's not forever. It's like as soon as this moment is over, we going back to being niggas.
It's like February.
I was about to say, they on side at one rally, but the other rally they might not even talk to you. It's just
right.
But there's certain things you can't say. You can't analyze it, or else something's wrong with you. You know what I mean? And I'm not even talking about the sexual part. I'm just talking about the hypocrisy in it all. When you're talking about, okay, I'm cool with you here and I'm not cool with you there. But if you say that, then you got some kind of phobia attached to you. It's just like
I just think simply put,
that's why I just be quiet.
I just think
I love everybody.
Simply put, you should just feel like I don't feel like I should shove how I feel or what I think down somebody's throat, right? Like, okay, so if I'm around a KKK member and this member's like, shit, I hate black people, right? Or I just dislike them for whatever reason. You feel whatever fucking way you feel, right? Because I can't change how you feel. You feel whatever way you feel. It's when you start to abuse people or when you start to like go out and hurt people, because you could think whatever you think, just like another person could feel like, well, shit, I'm not really into the whole trans thing or how things are changing or whatever. Feel whatever way you feel, but when you start to like abuse people, when you start to hurt people or try to kill people for whatever they believe or whatever they feel, whatever they think, that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it becomes a difference. And when you change people's lives, like if you're a racist person and you're a cop, Well, you can change people's lives like that.
Right.
You have the power to do some fucked up shit in that situation. Feel whatever fucking way you feel. But when you put yourself in a position to where you're just kind of like changing shit, people's lives and their living, it's different. Everybody's going to be joked on. It just is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you said, being fat, being black in school, you gonna get joked on. And believe I had that same thing. Oh, if I use what I got, and I've had this conversation on this show a lot. My grandpa said, talk about yourself, so when people talk about you,
they ain't got no room for it.
Yeah, you already heard it.
I tell people all the time, so you got eyesight, bitch. Cool.
And but let me crack on you, and it's a problem.
Right,
you know what I mean? Because
right.
obviously you ain't had that situation. So let me go ahead. And then when I found that out, I'm like, oh shit, oh y'all don't like that. Okay, now I'm making friends in this motherfucker. Like not a comedian. But a nigga crack on you quick. Like there's no problem. That's fine. So once you find out that defense mechanism, that okay, then it is what it is. If you're going to talk about, people are going to be talked about. There are trans people who talk about other people.
Yeah,
people are going to talk about people, and you have to say it is comedy. And if this person is saying I disagree with it, that's how they feel. Yeah. They disagree with it. But if that person is not like go kill everybody or go do this to whoever you disagree with, go fuck their life up or do whatever.
Man, I just don't think it's right how you can just like, and I have no problem with any community. Race, sexual preference, none of that shit means anything to me. But when you look at this is what I say about hypocrisy. Let's say if I just hung out with a trans person today for 24 hours, I'm sure that person is going to not like some fucking group. And that's their fucking preference. You know what I mean? Whether it be political, whether it be the bitch at the grocery store, whether it be how they serve they fucking drinks at Starbucks, everybody has something. You know what I mean? I just think to blow up one, because I think it's black people. We just get burned in the middle of the street. We ain't been able to cancel nobody.
Right.
We ain't just talking about feelings. We talking about a body count, motherfucker.
Asian hate crime bill passed last year.
Yeah.
When the fuck do we get to cancel some motherfuckers?
Still no.
No.
We have historically shown that, and institutionally shown that we are being treated like garbage.
But if you say you have a problem with just that, they still attach homophobia to you. It's like, nah, motherfucker, I'm pissed off because we ain't made no progress. We ready to cancel a motherfucker. We ready to get some protection.
And that is my stress with being in this community is I don't feel like fighting for this community when I'm still fighting to be black.
Yeah.
In 2021, I am still afraid to travel by myself as a black woman.
Yeah.
In 2021, I am still afraid to walk into rooms and speak. And in 2021, I don't even like being around a whole bunch of white dudes doing comedy because it's like they'll make a joke, and if I say something like I'm a dirty old lady, I make sexual jokes all the time, and people get weirded out. But I'm like, y'all literally be on stage doing rape and race jokes, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And this is why I say if Dave Chappelle was a white man and he told those same jokes, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Oh,
hell no.
Exactly.
Like I literally I had sat at a show.
What if George Carlin was saying the same shit?
Listen, I sat at a show with the dude with a notebook, a paid show. We getting booked, and you still got a notebook in your hand, and you up here reading pedophile jokes and telling us this may make some of y'all mad. What the fuck?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
I just feel like some people can get away with
That's
a lot
the
of
privilege.
shit.
Oh, yeah.
A white comic, female comic has an album called, if I'm not sure, rape jokes or whatever. And I understand it's a pun, but you don't see people trying to cancel her.
Yeah.
And that's what Dave Chappelle was trying to explain in his special. Daphne defended me. Y'all went so hard on her. I'm not saying that y'all community is the reason she committed suicide, but y'all want to deflect and say that it was David Chappelle when yet she stood up for David Chappelle. So what I'm saying is y'all go so hard on people, y'all fuck up people's mental. I tell people, comics, all that all the time, like I don't hang out with y'all. Why? Because you don't know what my mental health is. And y'all talk so much shit. Y'all don't know what space I'm in. Y'all don't know where I'm at. You don't know what I'm coping with. And y'all just keep talking shit. And if you see that I'm bothered or I'm oversensitive, you go even harder.
Yeah.
Why would I subject myself to that mental anguish? You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. If you feel something's going to be overly offensive or you feel like somebody might attack you, why even subject yourself to that artistry? Mm-hmm. But so many people will go and try to defend, and they don't understand when you're trying to defend your right, you are literally diminishing other people's capacity. You are literally belittling other people. Mm-hmm. So you still doing the same shit.
Yeah, that's why I say the hypocrisy. Look, you don't have to, the hypocrisy of it all is crazy. You don't have to watch the shit. You know what I mean? I can't run around this motherfucker being mad at extreme poor, and I don't have to watch that shit. I don't have to fucking rally and try to get this shit outlawed. Mind your business. That's for somebody. It ain't for me.
But the problem is
cream pies.
Yeah, clean porn. I watch it all the time.
But the problem is
I like clean porn.
But we have to understand the problem is
I don't fuck with that extreme.
The problem is the push on things. Like even us, just as regular people, we don't understand what we do, right? So let's say anything. Like if you're not doing something that somebody else likes, then it's a problem, right? So let's say having built anything. I see so much now, like having your own business, right? Having your own business. Everybody should have their own business.
Yeah.
And you're
now
crazy if you don't have
your own business, and you ain't doing nothing with your time because you
Yeah.
ain't taking Dollar Tree candlesticks and bedazzling them, and you ain't got no LLC named Licorice Lip Gloss Lip Company. Like y'all ain't really grinding because when I get off from the call center, I'm out here fucking putting hot glue stuff.
I get the bag.
And I'm making $45 t-shirts and shit. Like that's
and 10 people gonna buy them these next 3
and
months.
you ain't
and
really
I'ma
grinding.
do shit
I spent 3 days getting 1 million TikTok followers to get my business. And what y'all doing? Y'all just sitting at home scrolling, watching TikTok.
No,
She working that dude from college.
Are you at work? Are you at work?
You ain't doing nothing with your life.
Y'all out here working a 9 to 5 and da-da-da-da-da. And this is how I feel. I feel like everything is not for everybody. So give advice is one thing, but to call motherfuckers out for not doing something that you may be doing because like the LLC is big now. Everybody has to. If you don't have one, fuck you.
Ain't shit.
I feel like we live in a society, especially social media, where if you're not doing what everybody else is doing, it's being shoved down your throat, and you're not on that level. You're not this. You're not that.
Yeah.
So that is why if you do not have, I just say that if you do not, it sucks. But if you do not have tough skin, sometimes you have to know yourself for one.
Right.
If I know this ain't for me, mentally this shit ain't for me, or mentally I can't see this, or mentally if another person is talking shit, remove them, unview, so you can't view their shit because that is mental health. Sometimes it just is what it is. People are gonna feel how they feel. Everybody's not gonna agree with you. You're not gonna agree with everybody else. So it just is. You have to cut yourself off. Because everybody's going to have a view. Exactly. Everybody's going to have a point of view. Everybody's going to have you don't have to watch it. Like you said, you don't like scary movies. You don't have to watch it. I don't fucking watch football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't watch it. You know what I mean? I'm not upset when everybody else is upset. I'm like, oh, because I don't understand.
And that's my only thing. I wouldn't do something. If my best friend invited me to a David Duke rally, I wouldn't go and then come back talking shit. I didn't like the nigga talking about niggas like that. Like, how stupid would that fucking
I
be?
didn't like they little white outfit.
These motherfuckers was
mics
overdressed.
The mics was raggedy. The food was dry. Like, you ain't about to be going. You just not.
You didn't have to
gonna
go.
fucking go. Right. So.
All right, that's enough for our rants. I want to say before we run out of time, I just want to say this, man. Janell, I have watched you in my short amount of time knowing you, 2 years, I think. I have watched you command stages and just be a superstar that you are. And I want to say just keep doing it because you are going places, and I'm glad you finally came on our show and blessed us with your talent.
Let's
your
not
presence.
act like Janell ain't been here.
She been here, but she didn't come in
It
the...
don't matter. It don't matter. That shit
I was
count.
confused.
She was
No, I'm talking about in a different capacity. She was here with Rodney last time.
No, she
was here with Rodney last time.
She was here when we was in the kitchen.
I started from the bottom.
Listen, we not dealing with Ryan. She started with us from the bottom. She was like one of the. She wasn't
doing it like that back in the kitchen. Now she's a superstar.
We wasn't doing it like that.
None of us was doing good.
Shit.
Now we done met back up.
Listen,
I still drive the same car though. I still drive the same car.
That motherfucker's still clean.
That motherfucker loyal. It's been loyal.
I told her, look, I told her before Cortez got in my memory one shit. Goddamn, you gonna call me out on the radio?
Hell yeah. Yeah.
This ain't even the radio.
What we talking about? Groups, women empowerment. Janelle started with us from the
Well, the
get-go.
message was good. See, that's what we've been talking about all day. As long as the message is good, you fucking cut people some slack.
No, we talking about facts.
Well, go ahead. Say something before
All
I
right,
cut
now
this shit
listen.
off.
We're gonna talk about facts. Shout out to Janelle. Janelle been with us since the kitchen. When none of us was doing good, we ain't meet nobody.
We wasn't even eating in that motherfucker.
We tried to
We
get
was going to get 4 for 4s before the show. Now it's catered.
That's where I met you at. Now I remember. That's where I met you at the first. Hey, I was in Wendy's and Janelle was in there, and I didn't say nothing. We ended up coming to the same house.
Your house.
Bitch, you the one got the fucking meal, right?
Janelle been rocking with us for a minute since the beginning. So shout out to Janelle. If they would have had, this is before we was even meeting superstars. We tried to get a superstar nigga to show up and shit. We was all doing crazy, but now everybody's doing better.
Now I'm on the shows.
You
with
know
the
what I'm
superstars.
Hilarious.
So,
We ain't going to Wendy's no more.
Hell,
Man,
We done made it.
Definitely, we love to hear. I want to. This is the Black Jesus outfit. I like that. Appreciate you coming with the blackness.
Don't feed the tiger. Yes.
And y'all make sure y'all check her out. Janell Banks on all social media platforms. Y'all make sure y'all follow us too. Give us a share
Just
too.
Janelle.
Yes, thank you for
Well, yeah,
viewing.
just Janelle.
It's
So much.
Miss Just Laugh.
Miss Just Laugh.
MISSJUSLAUGH if you from the South. M-I, crooked letter,
God damn it.
J-U,
God
crooked letter, L-A-U.
And on that motherfucking note.
Already.
Later.